Before I start this video, I want to remind you all about the Therian territory Discord server. Since the last time I promoted this Discord server, it has kind of blown up. We have over 800 members now, and ever since it has kind of become a multi-community server, like a lot of different communities coming together. And I am mainly talking about ultra humans, including Therians and other kin, but also pluralities, with a slight focus on tulpamancy as well as the LGBT+ community and also the furry community. So it is a lot of communities coming together, but there's basically room to talk about any kind of interest or identity you may possess. So link is down in the description below if you want to become a part of it all, and I hope to see you there. Hi guys, welcome back to my Therian territory. You may call me Thorn, and in today's video I kind of want to do something that has been on my list for a very long time. I've always prioritized other videos, but this time I really want to do it for once, and that is the top 10 movies and series for Wolf Therians. As someone who is studying to become part of the movie industry, I am incredibly fascinated by movies and series in general, but what I of course like the most is whenever a movie kind of portrays Therianthropy in a way. Either that or it generally shows something that a lot of Wolf Therians could relate to. And I'm here to give a top 10 that goes in order of kinda okay-ish Therian content to like super heavily relatable shit that is also super epic and stuff. So it's not gonna be in order of what I prefer per se, but I do have to say that of course my opinion is biased and therefore my more favorite movies might be at the end of the list, you know? But you are of course totally free to share your opinion in the comment section down below. Before I start anything, I did want to mention that I will not be naming very crucial spoilers within the movie. It will mainly just be summaries, but sometimes I might go a little more into detail about what the Wolf Therian aspect is of the movie, but I'll try to keep away as many spoilers as possible. Number 10, Alpha. Alpha is a movie that takes place in a prehistoric setting. It was in a time where humans still lived in tribes and they had to stay together to survive because the wilderness was still quite dangerous to them. A boy unfortunately gets separated from his tribe because he falls off a cliff, but he still survives. While being injured, he stumbles upon a wolf pack who try to attack him. However, he manages to shoo them away, but one gets left behind injured as well. So the injured boy and the injured wolf now kind of meet each other and start to bond with one another a little bit. They kind of need each other to survive, especially around moral support. The Therian aspect of this movie, which makes the movie quite interesting as well, is the fact that the injured wolf and the injured boy can very well be compared to one another. You can kind of see them as almost the same person, or the wolf being more of like a totem or something. It is also a very wholesome story about how humankind eventually domesticated wolves into dogs. Number 9, Balto. Balto is a wolf dog with no family who lives in an Arctic village where suddenly this whole fever breaks out, especially for children. These children are basically going to die if medicine isn't brought in time. So a team of sled dogs is being sent out to get those medicine. Before they do this, they of course have to test the fastest dogs. Balto decides to participate and wins, and he eventually becomes part of the team. There he shows amazing leader skills, and you will see from there where it goes. What's notable about this movie is that eventually Balto comes to realize the wolf part within himself is what makes him stronger, even though he's been kind of ignoring that part of himself from the beginning. Sounds like quite some Wolf Therian content to me. What is also notable is the sequel to Balto, because that focuses a lot more on the wolf aspect. It is about the daughter of Balto who really strongly feels as if they are really wolf, you know? Another notable movie that is related to Balto is Togo, which is a live adaptation by Disney where Togo eventually turns out to be the hero of the team. Number 8, White Fang. White Fang is based on a book but has both an old movie from like the 80s or something and also a new animated version that can be seen on Netflix. I'll mainly be talking about the Netflix adaptation because I haven't seen the old movie, to be honest. White Fang is a movie about a wolf dog who has this giant adventure going on basically throughout his whole life. He eventually has 3 different owners throughout the entire movie, and there's a lot of things going on, but what is interesting about the movie is that he is incredibly strong. He fights through every obstacle he faces, and there's a lot of Native American roots going on. So if you're also into Native American spirituality, that may also be very interesting to you. Number 7, The Jungle Book, 2016 version. In the original animated version of The Jungle Book, there isn't a lot of wolf stuff going on. Only at the beginning of the movie, the wolves decide to adopt Mowgli, and then they decide whether he should stay or not, and then they aren't seen throughout the entire movie after. However, in the live action sequence of 2016, they did not do the wolves dirty at all. Throughout the entire movie, there's a lot of stuff going on about wolves and their packs and their loyalty towards one another, and that makes the movie much better in my opinion. From the beginning, Mowgli really wants to be a wolf, but eventually kind of finds out that he just can't be one because he just doesn't look like a wolf in any way. So there's some Therian vibes going on over there. Another movie worth mentioning that is kind of compared to The Jungle Book a lot is Mowgli, which is a new movie that can be seen on Netflix. It's honestly kind of the same movie, but there's a lot of more human stuff going on in this movie, and it's a lot more psychological as well, but it may also be worth watching. Number 6, Twilight. I know there's quite a stigma going around Twilight, however you cannot deny that the wolf aspect is pretty well done. Of course, this is more of a werewolf situation going on, where humans can actually transform into werewolves if they have the right genes. Again, this has a lot of Native American roots, so that might be interesting to you as well. What is interesting to me is that throughout the whole saga, there's a lot of pack dynamics going on, but there's also a lot of features that kind of represent the wolf. A notable one is like imprinting, for example, and of course wolves don't actually imprint, but if you're into that wolf edgy stuff, then this movie is surely for you. Or movies, should I say. And it is also important to know that in the first movie there isn't a lot of wolf stuff going on. Number 5, Princess Mononoke. Princess Mononoke is a Studio Ghibli movie in a world where gods still physically roam in the world, basically. Basically, a warrior finds himself in a war between the nature gods and some kind of mine workers investment going on. And during this journey, he meets Princess Mononoke. Princess Mononoke is a human female who has been grown up by a pack of wolves. And what's interesting and very much a Therian related part of the movie is that Princess Mononoke does not see herself as human and fully as wolf instead. From the research I've done, she is basically the only Therianthrope who has ever been represented by the media. She is fully human, incapable of changing into a wolf, but she fully identifies as a wolf. This is of course incredibly interesting to see, especially for us Therians, and therefore this movie may just be for you. Number 4. Wolf. Wolf is a very recent movie that was made in 2021, and it is basically about clinical lycanthropy. Clinical lycanthropy is a recognized mental disorder where someone actually believes they are able to physically change into an animal, or fully think that they are an animal without having a human body, for example, or feeling a tremendous amount of species dysphoria, etc. Wolf is about a young man who pretty much fully identifies as a wolf and comes in this institution for people who pretty much are lycanthropes. This entire institution is filled with people who identify as another animal. I do have to mention that this movie is rated R. It has quite some adult topics going on. There's quite a bit of abuse going on, as well as a little bit of sexual pressure. But furthermore, this movie is incredibly interesting to watch, especially if you also identify as an animal. It is still unknown if the creators of the movie actually knew about therianthropy. Some say they did, some say they didn't, but it is quite clear that it isn't necessarily about therianthropy and rather about clinical lycanthropy. Now we have come to the top 3. I'm excited. Number 3, Wolf Children. Wolf Children is about a fully human woman who eventually falls in love with a werewolf. This werewolf unfortunately dies, and therefore the mother is left with 2 werewolf children. Basically, while trying to raise these children, she faces a lot of struggles because these children both have human instincts and human tendencies and human needs, as well as wolf tendencies and wolf needs, for example. Because the werewolf part still needs to be kept a secret, she decides to isolate herself from society and live in this new house where she pretty much has to do everything. What's very interesting about the movie is that both children are incredibly different. One really embraces their human side, while the other one likes to embrace their wolf sides a lot more. I'm not gonna go further than that because it will become a spoiler, but it is incredibly interesting to see, so I recommend it to all of you. Number 2, Wolf's Rain. Ah, my favorite anime ever. Wolf's Rain is an anime from the 90s that has quite a post-apocalyptic setting going on. It is basically about a world where humans have pretty much corrupted the entire planet. This is because the rich people have pretty much invented everything by now. They have literally sourced out every single bit of the planet and there's pretty much nothing left remaining. And there's a legend going around that wolves will eventually kind of save humankind or save the planet by opening up paradise. The problem is that wolves have gone extinct for 2,000 years according to humans. This means that they are actually wolves, however to other humans they look like normal humans. And these wolves simply go on their journey to find paradise, to find a better place. What is incredibly interesting to see is kind of like the wolf being a human at the same time and a kind of intertwining with one another. There are a lot of scenes where you just see them as humans and then suddenly there's a shot where there are their wolf cells. It is incredibly epic to see, and fun fact, a lot of Therians actually awakened because of this series. They figured out that they are pretty much just like the wolves within the series. They're just wolves, but they have this kind of weird human illusion going on. They're stuck in a human body. I surely recommend it for everyone to see. I love this series so much. And now we come to my #1 wolf media ever made. And you might already know it because I already made a review about this and everything. But my #1 is Wolfwalkers. Ha! So stoked to talk about this. Wolfwalkers takes place in kind of a medieval setting. It is based on actual Celtic lore with the existence of Wolfwalkers. Wolfwalkers are beings who, when they are awake, are pretty much just humans, but they do have healing abilities and still have the ability to talk to animals. But when they go to sleep, their wolf versions come out of their body and they can just go around doing whatever they want to do as a wolf. A small girl named Robin wants to follow her father's footsteps by becoming a wolf hunter. The town they just moved into is being plagued by wolves, and Robin is determined to find a wolf outside the gates and kill one. However, instead of finding a wolf, she finds a wolfwalker. This wolfwalker is called Maeve, and you can very much see that she is not just human. In everything she does, she is pretty much wolf all the time. She's spontaneous, she's wild, she loves to have fun and scare people off, for example. Eventually Maeve accidentally bites Robin, and Robin also becomes a wolfwalker and has to learn her way of being a wolfwalker in a town that hunts wolves. What is amazing about this movie is that you can really see that there's a lot of point of views going on from a wolf perspective. Literally the first time I saw these scenes about the wolf perspective, I started crying because I felt so connected to my wolf stereotype at that moment. I had never felt that way before. So this is a giant recommendation for every Wolftherian. Go watch this movie because it will make you feel so good. Of course, I also recommend it for every other Therian to see or any other people to see. But that was pretty much my top 10 wolf movies and series. Of course, I did notice that there was only one series within the entire list, but it was still worth mentioning because it was all the way at #2, so. Anyways, I really wonder what you guys think of this list. Do you agree with it, or do you think certain positions need to be replaced? Do you really think I missed some movies, or do you think some had to be left out? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm also looking to make a movie/series list that is for all Ultra Humans. That way it's kind of more inclusive for everyone to see. However, I really just wanted to get this video done. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please leave a like down below or maybe comment down below. Or if you have any critique, you can also comment down below, of course. And if you really like my videos and want to see more in the future, perhaps consider to subscribe. And I will be seeing you guys in my Therian territory in the next video. Bye.